All right, guys, today we are going to be talking about, I'm going to be giving you 5 cues and 5 tips on how to get the most out of your workout and how to get more out of your workout without doing any extreme changes, without having any extra like equipment, anything like that. And just being able to get the most out of our workouts. Because sometimes when we go through our workouts, we do tend to feel like we're just, going through our motions and just checking something off of a checklist, which is okay. Like there's going to be times where just getting in there, getting the workout done, but just being a little bit more mindful of these 5 things that I'm going to be explaining are going to make a big difference and will be a game changer for each and every one of you. So number 1 is what I just mentioned. So number 1 is no distractions. Okay. So no distractions. Like you've heard me say this in the past, guys, and that is, just kind of being intentional, right? And having my me time. So like when I do my workouts, it's my me time, right? Unless unless the world is on fire or something, I'm not going to be stopping and texting and whatnot here and there. I do record my workouts here and there, but that's just for my pleasure. But no distractions, right? So like turning off all distractions. So especially if it's going to be something that is like stressing you out, right? So if it's a text message from your significant other or friends or family or something that's going to stress you out. So like turning notifications off or just completely just ignoring the notifications. So when you're doing your workouts, have no distractions and just be mindful of what you're doing, because a lot of times we'll step into our workout or step into the gym and we'll just like, all right, well, it took me forever to drag myself to do this. Now let's just like get this over with. But by you being intentional with what you're doing as far as like the workouts, and I'm going to give you some other cues right now, you will actually start feeling your muscles more, as opposed to just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just like going through a shoulder press or a push up or something like that, and I'm feeling something, right? So number 1 is turning off distractions, right? So like social media distractions, phone, and I've mentioned to you guys before, like if I'm getting a message from you guys on the app or anything like that, or like even if it's my friends or family or whoever it is, like I'm not really responding unless it's like complete emergency during that time, because it's my me time. It's my time where I de-stress, relax, and just it's my me time. That's all. That's like, there's nothing else that needs to be said about that. Number two, guys, is I want you to picture the muscle that you are working. Okay. So something that I used to do, I don't know, I'd kind of nerd out about it, but I would urge you guys to, and I'll just post a picture, but of an anatomy chart. Okay. And I would think of like, okay, what are the muscles that I'm actually going to be working, right? So I picture the muscle that's growing, or if you guys are scared of the word muscle, picture the tone that's growing. Okay, so tone and muscle, same thing. So picture the muscle that you're actually working. Okay, so when I'm doing a shoulder press, right, I'm obviously working on my shoulders, but like what part of my shoulders am I actually feeling, right? And sometimes if I'm doing anything unilaterally, meaning like one side at a time. So if you only have like one dumbbell or an exercise you're only doing one side at a time, I really think about, okay, what is that working? So for example, RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, like I have those in almost everybody. It's in everybody's program. So that's like your hamstrings, your glutes, you'll feel it a little bit in your calves. And I really try to picture that muscle, as opposed to, am I feeling this in my hamstrings, or do I just kind of have a good flow and range of motion and like, I don't know, I just got through the reps. Like make sure you're not just checking something off of a list. And I really like to picture my muscles. If I'm doing like an incline bench press, right? What part of my chest is working? And sometimes I'll do that. Like, I'm like, okay, cool. So this is, let's say I'm doing an incline bench press. This is mimicking the part, and I'll actually put my finger and tap my finger because it will send a signal to your brain, basically letting you know, like, okay, this is the part where we want to work. So if, for example, your bicep, you don't feel anything when you're doing curls. So what I would suggest you do as well is start like tapping the area where you feel like you're supposed to be hitting it, right? And how do you know what you're supposed to be working and hitting and all that? It's in the videos. It's in the tutorial videos. So, so that's how you know, right? But yeah, guys, that alone will make a huge difference, and it will make a huge difference on, you know, it'll also make a huge difference. There's actually studies out there that it will make a huge difference as far as the size and growth of it. Like there's like they've done I forgot what they call them, but the electrical stuff that they pin on your body and whatnot. There's actually been studies as far as like when someone's just going through a motion, like for a bicep curl or a pull up or a chin up or a pull down or a squat, as opposed to actually thinking about like what they're using, right? So really, like, do not underestimate that one. Okay, that sounds probably the most hippie one out of all of them, but guys, it is huge, and it is key for your actual muscle tone, definition, and size, right? So if you feel like you're, especially, right, if you feel like you're lacking in an area, right? So whatever, everyone has like a trouble muscle or a trouble area, right? Whether that's you know, your core or the back of your arms, your triceps, or your chest, or your lower back, or your glutes, or your hamstrings, or your quads, or your calves, wherever you're struggling the most, and it's going to be tough, but I really want you to like make that now. So like that's everyone's homework here, if you're watching now or on replay, is to make whatever muscle that you feel like is maybe your biggest area of opportunity. Every time you go into your workout now, like I really want you to slow down on the movement and take your time and focus on the muscle. So that's going to be number 2. Okay. Number 3, and this is also in your tutorial videos, so this might be a good time for you guys to go back to some tutorial videos, are cues. Okay. So cues, as far as like what we're supposed to do during an exercise. Okay. For example, a cue with a push-up or a bench press. I always tell you guys, like, tuck your elbows, right? By tucking your elbows, you're going to get more chest activation. Even with the shoulder press, you don't want to be like completely at 90 degrees because that puts your shoulders in a compromised position. Still want to be tucked and ending here. Cues with something like a squat, right? So if you watch the tutorial videos, I tell you spread your toes and screw your feet into the ground, and that creates tension from the ground up, right? And by doing this, because you guys already have efficient like workouts in your program, in your exercise program, but making that exercise even more efficient is going to be from these cues. Because a lot of times, like I've seen it before, like a lot of times we'll do a squat, for example, or someone will do a squat, like I'll see it at the gym or whatever, and they'll just like sink into the squat, or they'll just dive bomb into the squat, and you're not really getting you're still going to, over time, yeah, you'll still be getting some benefit from it, as opposed to just doing like band workout. But by doing the little things, by like spreading your spreading your feet into the ground, screwing your foot into the ground, that's going to create more tension, and you will be recruiting more muscles. So now you're doing a compound exercise, you're doing an efficient exercise, and you are recruiting more muscles at one time. Okay, so it's almost like you're getting double the work, right? So number 3 is going to be cues, okay? Number 4 is going to be everyone's favorite, which is warming up, all right? Making sure you are doing your warm-ups, right? So like the mobility in the beginning of your work, like if you're doing a lower body or a leg day, I have the lower body mobility on there for you as kind of like a quote unquote separate workout. So doing those before your workout, right? Or sometimes I just have it as the exercise, right? Another thing you can do is if you're not necessarily feeling a certain muscle, and I'll probably just do a series of videos on this for you guys. If you're not feeling a certain muscle, you can do like a warm-up / pre-activation. So you guys know when I go on my lives or the Q&As or whatnot, and I make fun of like booty band exercises and like bicep workouts that are like going to, you know, you're going to be getting a crazy pump. So these exercises are great for warm-up and at the end of your workout because it will wake up the muscle. So you can do these exercises and do these IG workouts like as your warm-up, but don't do it to the point of exhaustion, right? So like, for example, if you're doing a bicep, let's say you're doing let's say like the reverse band flies, right? The reverse band flies because we don't feel our back as much or our rear delts as much. You can do those for maybe like, I don't know, 3 sets of, like, honestly, a good round number is like 3 sets of 10 to 12, right? 3 sets of 10 to 12, and your intensity should not be high. So you should not feel like you're almost going to failure on these exercises, on these warm-ups, because when you get in, because that will affect the big movement, right? The row, the pull-up, the chin-up, Supermans, whatever exercise we have. So using your warm-ups and activating the muscle by you could activate the muscle. So guys, type this in the comments, like activate by isolating. So activating by isolating. So what does that mean? So that means for a chest press, right? Maybe pick a lighter weight and slowing down the movement and pausing and coming right back down. Or if let's say on glute bridges for the ladies or the guys as well. Let's say we have you doing glute bridges and you're not really feeling it in your glutes. Maybe start doing some single leg glute bridges or body weight glute bridges with and going like extreme, like high reps to where you're feeling the muscle, but again, you're not just like fatigued where I'm like, I can't do another set, right? For your back. So like what I like to do for my back, if you do have a gym, like the pull down machines, and I like to just really slow down the movement and pause, okay? Or if you don't, just like the band pull aparts that we talk about. So we are activating, guys, by isolating the exercises to make sure that we are feeling the muscle that we're supposed to be feeling. All right. So that's number 4. Number 5 goes hand in hand with number 4, and that is time under tension. Okay. So time under tension means like how long you're doing the exercise. Okay, / have the weight in your hand. Okay, if for example I'm doing let's say a shoulder press, right? If I'm doing a shoulder press and I'm just moving the weight up and down, okay. If let's say I'm using 20 pounds, okay. If I'm just using 20 pounds and I'm moving the weight up and down, if I'm using 20 pounds and it takes me like 1.5 to 2 seconds to finish the rep, as opposed to a solid 4 seconds or a solid 3 seconds, not 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, all the way to the top, 4, 1,000. By building that time under tension, and also if you have minimal weights, that's another way of increasing your muscle mass and tone. But having that time under tension, and all of this stuff, guys, goes for weighted exercises and body weight exercises, okay? So even if you, let's say you don't have any weights and you're just doing like a body weight squat, you could dive into your squat, or you could take 3 seconds, right? Really recruit the muscle, slow down on the movement. It will take a little bit of time. It might take a little bit longer, especially in the beginning, because it feels weird or foreign. But it will make a huge difference on recruiting more muscles and activating more muscles. So time under tension. Time under tension is, we could, there's a whole other topic where you could increase time under tension by adding more weights as well, but that's a topic for that's a discussion for a whole other day. But time under tension, so slowing down on the movements, right? And by slowing down on the movements, right, when I do slow down on the movements, I could start using some of my other stuff that I learned today. Okay, so now I'm slowing down, I'm using the same weight, but I'm picturing the muscle. I'm starting to feel the muscle a little bit more, right? And oh yeah, this is the same exact thing that I felt during my warm up, right? But all of that goes, I would say it's probably going to be in order, and it's all going to start with like no distractions. Because if you just got like this nasty text message from somebody and you're like, oh gosh, whatever, then you do this workout, you're just going to want to finish the exercise or the set so you can go back and reply to this person, or reply to this troll on Instagram or whatever, right? So just like really be aware of the distractions that do affect you. And guys, I I used to be really hardcore back in the day, where I would not even, I guess you could call it's hardcore now, I guess, but I would not take my phone into the gym, or if I would, it would be on airplane mode, which is unheard of, right? So that's the extent you can take it to, right? Like airplane mode, and just let your music play or whatever it is, or just turning off social media distractions, because like we're always getting notifications for social media, and then you got this app messaging you and notifying you, and someone just posted a recipe, and then you get this deal from Lululemon and all this stuff. Like there's a million different things that's going to be distracting you, and if you're distracted, you're not going to be picturing the muscle. You're just going to be moving through the workout. You're not going to remember the cues will hopefully be in the back of your head, but it's not going to be in the forefront. And then your time under tension will probably be fast, because you're just trying to reply and get that deal from Lululemon, or reply to that troll on Facebook or Instagram, right? So that is it, guys. That is 5 ways that you're going to get the more out of your workout, more muscle, more tone, and just like recruiting more muscles and being more efficient from your workout. So I'm going to go around the circle real quick, and I'm going to see if you guys have any questions and or your biggest takeaway. So Christina, we will start with you. Questions and or biggest takeaway.
No questions. My biggest takeaway is what we typed in the chat, was to activate by isolating. And I like the tip about like the touching what we're supposed to be targeting, just to make sure we're focusing and we're feeling it there, not just going through the motions.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing. All right, Maria Elena, biggest takeaway, and then any questions.
The idea of visualizing the muscle that you and really being attentive to it, because sometimes I think I get caught up in just getting it done,
Yeah.
as opposed to really being purposeful about it. So that was helpful. But no other questions right now.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. All right, Bobby, you are up. Your biggest takeaway and any questions?
No questions, bro. My biggest takeaway was time under tension. Prolong the exercise a little longer and to work it out
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, and that's actually also, guys, time under tension. You just remind me, Bobby. But time under tension, if you're stuck, let's say you're increasing the weights and you're stuck between like two different weights or dumbbells, or you're not sure whether you're ready to, for example, let's say you're doing 20 pounds on a squat and 25 pounds just seems way too heavy. Time under tension with the 20 pounds will get you stronger. If you do that for like 1 or 2 weeks, that'll get you stronger to be able to do the next and heavier weight. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, cool. Thank you, Bobby. Stephanie, biggest takeaway and any questions?
No questions. I guess my biggest takeaway is not having distractions. Because I do tend to get distracted during my rest period. So that's one. And then the other one is not just going through the motions. I feel like when I was really stressed out at work, it was like, okay, well, I have to get my workout done. And I would just I wasn't really focusing on, slowing down through the exercises. And so with you talking about it right now, Mom, maybe that was what the difference was. I was just kind of going through the motions and not really actually getting my workouts done the way I should be. And I really feel that this week that I'm not as stressed, I was really taking the time and slowing down. And I also took your advice of adding more reps. And I'm actually going to go get some bigger weights. Well, not big, but 10 pounds.
Oh.
Just to try
pounds?
to increase.
You say 20 pounds? Is that what you said?
I said 10.
20? Adjustable 20-pound dumbbell? Cool.
Okay, I'll work on it. So that was definitely my biggest takeaway. So I'm going to keep working on that.
Awesome. Yeah. Speaking of that, you reminded me. Guys, if you ever feel like you're really distracted or you're going to get a million messages or whatnot during your workout, set a timer on your phone for 30 minutes. See how much you can get done in those 30 minutes. I did this the hard way when the gyms were like kind of opening and they had certain, and I would just like push it to the end of the day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have 45 minutes to work out. So it would take me 5 to 10 minutes to warm up. And then I would set a timer for 30 minutes. You'd be surprised how quick you can get through your workout in 30 to 45 minutes. Like just literally set a timer. And every time you want to be distracted, you're going to see that timer running on your phone. And you're going to say, oh shit, I only have 15 more minutes. I need to get this workout done or Fatty's going to yell at me, right? Cool. All right, Brenda, thank you for sharing, Stephanie. Brenda, biggest takeaway and any questions?
All right. So I also have two things. One is picturing the muscle. I'm still learning like what exercises do what for you. And so I think that's going to be really helpful in knowing. So I've like, especially like the areas that I had told you I really want to work on. So definitely going to help. So I'll be doing a little bit more research. I know the videos help, but I just so that it's kind of ingrained in me and I can do that.
You can always ask in the group as well.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
like I guarantee if you have questions, someone else in here will also have the same exact question, and it might not be for that muscle or it might be for something else. So like, for example, hey, I'm doing this exercise. Where am I supposed to be feeling it? Just post it in the group. And I guarantee you're not alone in that. Like I already see heads nodding right now.
All right, awesome. And then I think Bobby said as well that time under tension. I think because the 8-pounders were just way too light for me, I was literally just kind of like, okay, like I'm doing it. But I think it would have helped had I been doing the time under tension with those. But now that I have the adjustable ones, which I'm super excited about, when I'm ready, because it goes from like 10, which is what I'm working with now, to then 15. And like you said, it seems like such a high jump. So then what I'll do is when I feel like, okay, this is getting comfortable, then I'll even more on purpose kind of do the time under tension to help me kind of prepare for the 15 and so forth. So I really like that. I'm gonna definitely take that and use it.
Perfect. And for everybody that is watching now and will be watching later, don't use the time under tension as an excuse to not move up in your weight. Okay. I know how, trust me, I know how intimidating it could be. But if you feel like you pick up the weight and you're just kind of like flail, like let's say you're doing a shoulder press and you go from doing 10 pounds to 15 pounds and you feel all wobbly and all over the place, yeah, that might be a little bit heavy. But if it's a little bit of a struggle, in order to get there, like that's fine. And you know, by watching the videos, guys, like you will have the form broken down for you and whatnot. But I also want to let you guys know it's okay to fail. Like, don't be afraid to fail. I know I would be so scared and I'd be like, you know, my program says 12 reps and I'm supposed to do 12 reps exactly. And it's like, I can't, like, let's say I got to 9 because I went up way too heavy in weight, or 6 reps. I'm like, all right, well, now I know what I need to do and I need to move the weight down. But you'll never be able to test it. Like, I'm going to send you guys a video that I found on the TikToks yesterday. But like, guys, you don't know what true failure is until you've really, really been pushed there. And I would say the majority of us have not got anywhere near there. And I do want to let you know, like, it's okay to fail. It's okay to, I told you, you know, don't be afraid to, like, quote unquote, make a fool. If you're going into the gym, don't be afraid to quote unquote, make a fool of yourself. Like I told you guys the last 2 weeks ago, like I tried to sit down on a weight and I completely missed. And I've been going to the gym for a year, like forever, guys, like shit happens. But also with your workouts, like, don't be afraid to fail. I'm not saying go to failure on every single workout, but if it's been something that you're doing the same exact weight, the same exact reps, week after week after week, it's okay to push yourself a little bit and get uncomfortable. Like, sometimes going into the gym, it should feel nerve-wracking to, like, okay, never done this weight before. Like, well, you know, am I going to be able to do this? Am I even going to be able to move it? And I do want you guys to get uncomfortable, because like that's where the real growth happens. Because sometimes you'll grab that weight and you'll do it and you're like, whoa, I'm getting a lot stronger. I didn't know that I could do this. So yeah, that's it, guys. Any questions before we log off? Cool, guys. Great roundtable. I want you guys to all put in the chat. Yeah, let's put in the chat, like, what your biggest takeaway has been today, okay? That's it, guys. Hope you guys all have an amazing Friday. I'll be getting your check-ins in to you later, and we'll talk soon.